I'm waiting for my guest. So I hope my guest, Michele, soon coming. Yes, can be so amazing. You maybe have that pain in your life. You maybe have suffering from a narcissist in your life or a psychopath. And then we're gonna discover all that. So I have one question for you. Tell me in the comment. Have you tried? Please comment about it so we can let you know. And I'm still waiting for her to come. And yeah, I'm Eabeauti. Also, I'm still a Suniday. I am a motivated speaker about sensuality, about taboo people are so afraid of talking about. And yeah, today I look so much forward to my guests coming. So I hope soon she's coming on. I have to email her if she's not coming in the next 5 minutes. So yeah, then I must make the show this time because it's a long time since I have do it. There have been so much technical problem with YouTube. I have a lot of live shows, a lot of shows who will come up next week. So who are tapping in, please write in the comments so I can say hello to you. Let us share some love and let us do some gratitude exercise. But you just want to try, send her an email. I think so I'm back again. I'm back again. Sorry. But it's very important we try to get the guests, but they don't maybe understand. Can only do it from the phone. So yes. So how is your life to do gratitude? I discovered gratitude and breathing is something we must learn to get rid of our stress and be more happy and lucky in our life. So right, I can see there's 5 in. So please write in the comment where you're tuning in from. That I would love to know. I am in Croatia. I am from Denmark. So love to know where you're tuning in from. I would be so happy to hear from you in the comments. And so I can say hello to everyone and say thank you. So yes. So I hope Michelle's soon coming. Or then I don't know what we should then we must talk about. She is expert in narcissist and psychopath. I know about it, but it's not my topic. My topic is about love and sensuality and how we can love ourselves so we don't meet them. So I can talk about that because when we love ourselves, we don't meet all this kind of people in our life. And I see people jumping from because our guests not are there, but please stay tuned or come back. I'm still hoping and she will come. It's very important people see what she say. She says she's on her phone now, so I hope she's tuning in. I was just away, so I hope she's coming in soon. So I will copy the link again and invite her. So when we love ourselves, and how can we do that? We can talk a little about that. And yeah, I think she's there now. Yay! I think she's there now. Yeah. Yeah, you are there now.
How are you?
Welcome. Yeah, there she is. Welcome.
Thank you. Well,
Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry I forgot to say to you, YouTube have a you can only do live show from the phone.
it's
So
totally.
welcome. So I have talked a little to people and waiting for you.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was on the way to tell how we could love ourselves, to tell them something they could use for. Because then we don't need a narcissist and psychopath when we love ourselves. But I want to introduce you to an amazing guest, Michele Stone from Florida. And she's doing both art and she is studying a lot about narcissists and psychopaths. So I want her to introduce herself because I like when people introduce themselves and tell who they are. So I will give the word to Michele Stone. Thank you so much for being in my show, and thank you for all who are gonna listen. Stay tuned and listen. We have a lot of good value to you. Thank you, Michele. It's your time to shine.
Thank you so much, Eabeauti. It's an honor. Um, ooh, it's an honor being on your show today. My name is Michele Stone. I live in Florida. I am an artist, a therapeutic art life coach, a curator, and an art teacher. And I'm here today because I want to talk a bit about mental health, narcissism, dealing with trauma, and healing through art. Because that's what I'm all about, and that's what I do. And so, um, I've been studying narcissism for about 8 years now. I've had a just a plethora of people in my life, from my childhood on up, that have been narcissists, and I never knew what what it was. I just kept like I was in this like spiral of like, what am I doing wrong? What else can I do to make them happy? What else can I do to make this work? This and and in my own internal life, the way that I dealt with that is through art. And from the time I was 5 all the way up until now. And then as it became art became more and more prevalent in my life, and allowing myself to heal, I started learning that I could also help others heal through art, which is why I became certified in therapeutic as a therapeutic art life coach.
Oh,
um
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, tell me a little more about that. That sounds amazing. So you can get a certificate in that. Wow. That
it,
sounds amazing.
it's
Tell
it's
people a little more about that. Maybe someone also want to take education in that.
yeah, well, and there's a lot of different avenues that you can go through. Because I knew that art helped me, I felt that it was and as I began to continue to talk to people, I realized that it was important for other people out in the world, and like minds connect. And so I just kept studying on through that, and through and the certification, it was something that it was something that because it kept helping me heal, I started searching for it. And over COVID, actually just before COVID, I got a certification online. And then I found someone else who was also certified through that particular organization. And so lately she and I have been doing a lot of lives on YouTube and through our different um
Send me
websites.
a link so I can put that in the comments so people can listen to them also
Oh,
if they interested. Yeah.
Claudia Doza, she's out of Oregon,
Mm,
and we do actually this upcoming Tuesday on the 3rd at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
mm,
We will have a live on my YouTube channel, and I have two YouTube channels. One is Michele Stone
mm.
Masterpieces, which is where you'll find this
Oh,
YouTube
wow.
7
Wow.
p.m. Yeah,
Okay, send me the link. I will put them in the comments so people can find you.
absolutely, I will.
Mm,
So a lot of the
okay.
pieces behind me are actually part of my process.
Mm,
One of the things that I do is as I'm talking to people, I become inspired as I'm learning new quotes and different things. I become inspired, and then I start to doodle these ideas, and then I'll doodle them, um, and initially on just paper, and then eventually they turn into pieces of art, like the pieces behind me. So
Mm. Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
thank you.
I love it. Yes, I love it. So start telling me about all your studying you have done.
Oh, the setting. So there's a lot of there's so many different aspects of narcissism.
Mm,
That there's a lot of like gaslight initially when you're with someone who is toxic. They it's it kind of catch you off kilter. It's like you'll meet someone, and then they'll start to love bomb you, right? And what that does is they'll bring you in, and they'll kind of study you, and then just create this false reality of like how they adore you and create all of these very intimate moments, but it's more like a false moment. And so what happens is you kind of get hooked, and and then you want more of that, and you want more of that, and then once they get you hooked, then they start to, it's kind of like they flip the switch, and they start to like devalue you, and not give you that, so then you're kind of longing for more and more, and then it turns into this alternate reality where um then it turns into more like gaslighting, and where they're telling you things and creating and telling you things that are false, but convincing you that they're real. um and so it's very confusing, and I don't like, I've been studying it for quite some time, and I've lived it for the majority of my life. And just over the last 8 years is when I've really started to acknowledge it and heal. The base of those kinds of toxic relationships is shame, and so
mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a
it's
whole
a
program of it on YouTube also.
and what happens when when you're shamed is your body actually excretes cortisol, and then you want to go hide in the corner,
Mm,
and um and then it's really hard to like come out of. It's hard to like bring yourself out, especially when you're gaslighted and people are telling you untruths, and there's just a lot of confusion around it. And so eventually, as you start to heal, there's a gentleman out of Tennessee, Dr. Mario Martinez, who wrote a book called The Mind Body Code. And that's actually where I started learning about it. Is he has this belief that there are three archetypal wounds: shame, abandonment, and betrayal. And through those particular wounds, there's temperatures in the body that you feel. Like with shame, it's really hot. With abandonment, it's really cold. And with betrayal, it's like it's fire. It's like somebody tricked me and I'm furious. And then, but the opposite of that are
mm,
healing fields. And so the healing field of shame is honor. And so when someone shames you and then you honor yourself, you're like, you catch it and you go, oh, I'm honoring myself. And it kind of neutralizes the shame. And then with
mm,
abandonment, there is the healing field for that is commitment. And so like commitment to yourself. And so that's kind of a colder feeling. And so when you start to be committed toward yourself and to your life and to who your sovereignty, your power, your agency, it helps neutralize that feeling. So because the commitment is more of a warm sensation. And then with loyalty, the healing field for that is no, with betrayal, the healing field for that is loyalty. And so that's also a cooling sensation. And so that self-loyalty to yourself and your life helps like really neutralize that. And so the more that you feel, the more that you're loyal to yourself, that you're committed to yourself, and that you have honor for who you are and integrity, it helps like neutralize all of the things that go along with that, the toxic relationships.
yeah, because and that's where what I say it's like you get some kind of addicted when you meet that kind of type.
Yeah.
So it's like addiction, and that's what I was starting to show about before you come in. Like, I believe if we could learn from little to love ourselves,
Yeah.
then that will stop. Like, um, we will attract these people. But we can, of course, we born in our soul into a family with that.
Right.
But it's because we have to learn something. But I think when we are teenager, if we could learn teenagers to start loving themselves, then they could come out of this. Because as I hear you say, like it's like gonna be addicted, and when we got addicted to someone, it's because we have lack of need, a love, and all that.
Absolutely. And the way to love, especially when you're in these kinds of toxic relationships, is through that honoring, through that, like, that acknowledging, wait, I'm in this space and it doesn't feel like love.
Mm,
Because, like, if you think about it, everybody wants love, right?
mm,
And when, but when you're lacking love, because you're like, I'm not I'm not stable. I'm not, like, you question yourself. You're wondering, um, you know, when you're in that, like, full vibration of love, you're on top of the world.
mm.
Like, everything works. Life is
Yeah,
magical. Things is serendipitous. Your friendships, your relationships, everything flows. And so, but when you're not in that, when like, going back to those three core healing fields, like the honoring yourself, the being committed, the being loyal to yourself. I found that the more that I leaned into those, the more that it raised my vibration, and I was able to love myself more. I was able to have a higher self-esteem, able to have more self-confidence.
mm.
So, and it's
Yeah,
a
and I definitely, yeah. What you say? No issue. What you
I
say?
was gonna say it's a tough journey. You have to just be really,
Yeah,
really self-aware, you know?
yeah, yeah, and that is the problem because so many not aware in the world
Right,
about how much it actually are so important that we need to go in and heal ourselves and love ourselves
right,
because love is so important. We will never be in lack of love when we love ourselves, because then we
right.
will meet, as you say, then we will be on this high vibration. But because so many today not aware of what is love,
Right.
and they all going around, like, I see that just with my clients, like they 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 also don't know who are they. They're very productive in job and all that, but they don't know who are they inside themselves. So I see it, and then you attract this kind of type, and some of
Right.
them gonna be create from that also, as we was talking about. We have a talk show together, and like private, like how we gonna create these people, and like
Yeah. No,
who
I
is it?
I go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no. What? Who is it who creating these people? You can tell about that maybe.
So, I think I know in as a teacher, and I'm also a mom, I have done my best. Especially in my son, I've done my best to instill the things, that the self-confidence and everything in him. And then, and because he is my son, I was able to, like, guide him and direct him a lot more. Um with the children that I teach, I I'm more general, but I still, do my best to foster the honoring and the self-commitment and I think there's a lot of modalities that share that teach children share a lot, which is, I think sharing is important, but I also think
Mm.
self-independence is important. And so
Yeah,
making them,
exactly.
if you teach them early to make decisions on their own, then as they get older, they're able to have those boundaries and be loyal to themselves,
Mm.
and be committed to themselves and to understand what their direction is. And so, like, when you hit those teenage years and those early 20s, and there's a lot of influence happening throughout your life, you start to understand that, oh, well, you know what, if they have this belief inside of them that, that the decisions that they make for themselves are truly the best ones, then they're not as influenced externally.
No, exactly. But also, like, then I was talking with one of my friends about where did children learn to bully each other?
Right.
How can it be in so young age you already have learned? Where is it coming from?
Right. Right.
Question, where is it coming from? Where have you learned as little to stop saying bad things to someone? Have you learned you should so is it everything is happening at home or in our environment who learning us that when we are little? Because we should be pure soul when we born. So how should we know if we say, "Oh, you are ugly"? How should we know you are where it's coming from? Because there is always like a leader in a class, you know. If you remember back to your own school time, there was only one who was the leader in the class, like, and who creating this leader and all that. Who
Yeah.
have decided this gonna be the leader in our class? That's really interesting. I think, like, just where we, because if you already learned that, that's the reason you're probably gonna be narcissist or psychopath, because you must have seen something when you're little. Or what do you think? What do you think about your studio? I just
I, well, first, initially, I think that psychopaths, and again, I'm not an expert in this, but all the studying that I've done, and all the people that I've watched, and all of the information that I have, psychopaths are born, narcissists are created. And
mm.
so, and it's there's
So you say
it,
psychopath is born as a, they're gonna be born with it, so it's in the DNA, like,
yeah. Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that
Psychopaths,
I
psychopaths
always
have,
have think there must be, yes, what you know, yeah, psychopath.
they have no remorse, where narcissists at
Mm.
least have some kind of remorse. They have a little bit of remorse. um Narcissists are created, and there's a lot of different factors in the environment, but there are two different times that as a child is growing, that they individuate. One is during their toddler years, and then the other one is during the teenage years. And
Mm.
so when the toddler is able to stand and walk and tries to step away from the parent and goes off and maybe go grabs a toy and then comes back, right? And that creates like a sense of individuation where they're separate at that point. From the time that the toddler is born, or the child is born, until that toddlerhood, they are one with their parent, primarily their mom, the more nurturing of the parents, so it's typically the mom. And then as they move forward, once they start to walk and gain their independence, and then they're able to kind of go back or go out and grab a toy, or even just walk to the sofa or something like that, and then come back to the parent, it starts to create a sense of individuation, where they're starting to
Mm.
individualize and realize that they are separate from their mom or from their caretaker. Um, if and the same thing when they're teenagers. If they go off and they start to hang out with these friends and those friends, and have different experiences in their life, and then they come back home. If at any point in time during those those periods in their life, um, they are not allowed to do that, to individuate, to go out and then come back and have those kinds of experiences that create that separation. It creates it's almost like they're smothered too much, and then it creates a void inside, and so they're not able to develop that self-esteem, that understanding that they are separate entities, that we are all individual people. And so, and then what happens is it creates this hollow space inside, and then they need to start filling themselves up with the energy of other people outside of them.
Mm.
Does that make sense? And so when they're love bombing
Mm.
later on in life, whether it's friends or lovers or whoever that is, and what they're doing is they're trying to um uh like trying to express all of the love that they want inside onto somebody else, so then they catch them, and then they start to like just slowly suck the life out of the other person. It's
Mm.
called narcissistic supply.
Yeah, but how have they learned that? It's interesting.
Yeah. And
How
so
they know they approve to be the love bomb, and then how to that after be. That's really interesting.
it's part of their process. It's part of like what they,
Mhm.
because they don't have a way to fill themselves up, because they weren't able to individuate. They have to find a way to get the love that they need, that they see everybody else around them has, that they don't have, because they're so hollow. They didn't have those experiences, like the building blocks on top of one another, just the this moment and that
Mm.
moment and that moment, they create building blocks of that help build our self-esteem. And so when 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 they as they continue to grow, what they do is they start to learn how to fill themselves up through people outside of themselves. And and um and so they'll just start off with little experiences here and there, and before you know it, they realize, oh well, this is the best way that I can feed myself,
Mm.
is, if I project all of the love onto that I need onto somebody else, and then once they're hooked, then I'm gonna like start to pull that from them. And it's almost as if once that phase of the cycle happens, it's almost as if they they can a switch flips, and that they start to, just tell that other person, they start to devalue them.
Yeah, it's almost like in the sea when you the people who catching fish. It's almost the same like people who go out in the sea and taking the fish, they first playing with them, and then they,
Throw them
I don't
back.
think, yeah, and then they're throwing back, and then they even throw them out or they eat them, or I just see it like that. It's like, you're playing first with them with some good food, and they're catching, running after you because they want the food, and then after you even destroy them, eat them, or
That's a good analogy. I actually have a doodle, as I've mentioned earlier. I doodle a lot, and so I have a doodle of a fish on a dock. I'll see if I can send it to you.
mm,
Um, and so it's the so it's like there's a dock, and then there's a wall in between, and on this side is the dirty water, and on this side is the clean water. And
mm,
the fish is facing toward the clean water, like, oh, I want to go into the clean water, because they just came out of the dirty water, and it's just so dirty, it's just so yuck,
mm.
filled with
Yeah,
toxins and.
so they actually maybe want to come out of being narcissist. They actually don't want to be there in the place, but
No.
they not know how. And
Mm-mm.
is there anyone who are getting out of it? Do you know if there any scientists proof for a narcissist who have been it and find out I am that, and then you have get help, and then it's coming out of it? Is there any scientific proof of that?
For narcissists to heal themselves.
Mm.
Um, there's mixed reviews, but I tend to believe no. And I'll tell you a story. I was at an event one time with the narcissist in my life at that moment, and I have several friends who are licensed mental health therapists. There's psychologists, psychiatrists, those kinds of things. And one of my friends was there and met the narcissist that I was with, and they didn't know each other. They had just met, and later on, I was talking to my friend, and she said, "You know, I could have 100 sessions with that person, and they would never change."
Mm-hmm.
And so and there are a couple that I follow on social media that that put information out there that kind of gives you a little bit more information about how narcissists work from their perspective. But even them, it's like I'll watch their videos to gain more information, and even there's sometimes that I even get grossed out by them just energetically, because you can see how they're feeding off of giving people the information that's part of their narcissistic supply. And so it's tricky, but no, I don't believe that they can.
Wow. So they
Yeah.
need to suffer all the life with this,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then if we believe in it or not, I believe in I believe in afterlife and afterlife.
Yeah, me
Then
too.
you actually never gonna get out of it.
The way that I believe is that each time that our soul incarnates and comes down here, that it's a different experience. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah, I have learned, if you are like alcoholic, and if you don't have cleansing that up before you die, you're gonna go to this life again and gonna be it. And you will keep being to the day you realize you must clean it up.
kind of like, if you haven't learned the lesson, you're going to continue to learn the lesson until you
Yeah,
get until you understand it. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I have learned from all my studying about um past life, and inclusive myself. I can remember some of my past lives. So,
Interesting.
well, so in that way, so that's interesting. So in somehow they're actually coming down as a soul who are that, and they have choosing parents who
To support that. Yeah,
who
that's really,
support that.
you know what? You're making me think about that now, because um and there's been several people in my life who I've met again and again. This one particular person I'm thinking of, I've been told that I've had several lives. We've spent several lives together.
Hmm?
And in the past life regressions that I have done with that particular person, that does make sense that they're that in the other lives.
Yeah,
Uh,
in my with my ex, my love of my life,
yeah.
we have meet each other before and before,
Hmm.
and depend of how much he gonna clean up before he going to the next life, then
Hmm.
we actually can have a relationship next life.
Right. Right.
But it depends of he cleaning up. I cleaning up, but I cleansing everything in my life, um, to be completely heal.
That's my goal too, is this life
Mm.
to be completely dharmic about all of my things,
Yes.
all
So,
of my
and
issues.
I
Yeah.
have just learned about Kabbalah. Do you know about Kabbalah? Have you heard about that?
I do not know
I
about
was
Kabbalah.
I was just to an event in London. Oh my God, that was it was really deep. And Kabbalah is where they're going in and talking about how Creator have creating us, and how everything is, why we learn it, why some parents creating, and yeah, it's very deep. I will send you something about it. But
Yeah.
I know about this guy. He was in an interview for His name is David. I cannot say his name, Gary. He live in Los Angeles. But
Mhm.
I see a show with him with Louis Hove, The Greatness of School. And I see the show with them, and I was like, wow, I must meet this guy. And
Right.
then I started seeing some interview with him.
Hmm.
And I already have buy some flight ticket to London, but to another event got cancelled with Winhoff. And the
Right.
event get cancelled, but I still have this flight ticket because you cannot change them because it will cost more in the flight ticket was costing. And so I just have this flight ticket. And then I see him, and then he's suddenly putting up on Instagram, oh, who want to come to London Sunday evening?
Oh, wow.
And I go there, and he looked completely like my ex. And some of the things my ex was telling me about, because he had a religion behind him, I was not really listening to it before this guy because he's talking from a spiritual perspective. Then I was seeing like, but I have also attracted narcissists before in my life because my ex was saying you're too pure to this world.
Yeah.
So I attracting. So I have also my children's dad have come some things like that, and all my relationship have how you say
It's
some
it,
kind
it
of that. I have breaking out from it. My ex also was. He was like he have schizophrenia, and
wow.
so. But I was coming so long where I love myself, so I could say, I helping other to live a healthy life. So I
Right.
cannot stay with you. I have to go. You have to move away, no matter what. I will love you rest of my life, but that's cut because and that's when we have loved ourselves so much so we can standing up for ourselves say now
Right.
it's just need to my cats want to fight and I don't want them to fight.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I
Because you want in. Oh, hold on, oh, no, it's the fall. Hello, they're coming in.
Aw.
You want in also or what? You want in? No, you just want to sit there. Yeah, I'm back.
That's okay.
Yes, so it's
No,
really interesting topic. So he have another way to see all that, and he was also talking about narcissists when I was to this event.
really.
So yeah, so it's interesting. Like then they maybe never can get out of that. They're living in this circle all the time, and
And no, because narcissists don't have any empathy. They're not capable of empathy. Empathy is the idea of you can put yourself in other people's shoes. Because they're so empty inside,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they
But
there's no way they're constantly filling up their own bucket,
mm,
if you will. And so there's no way for them to like really put themselves in someone else's shoes because they're so self-absorbed.
yeah, but also they will maybe never also go and get help. Mm?
Not often. And when they do, they're late, they lie, they deceit, they
Mm,
they try to gaslight. I know of a
mm,
situation of some friends of mine. There was a situation where this couple that I know were going through a divorce, and they started going to this therapist who understood about narcissism and everything. And the when the wife was there with the kids, um, they the 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 therapist helped, and if when the husband was there, the therapist helped. But at one point, the therapist um got a little confused because of the narcissist that was involved, and
mm.
and made a couple of off choices, and it was just really interesting um
Yeah,
how it turned out, and then he was able to recorrect and then come back around. But it was one of those situations where it was like, the narcissist will do their best to gaslight anyone and everyone so they can continue to have they can continue with their storyline in their head.
Mm.
I've
Mm.
literally watched narcissists in my life just sit there and process. Like, you could watch like their eyeballs going back and forth, just coming up with stories and trying to figure out how to manipulate.
Mm.
It's you can see this look on their face that changes when they go into that whole storyline in their head. And it's really, really interesting to watch. Especially
Yeah,
now that I look
it's a
back on
really
it.
interesting topic.
Say it again.
It's a really interesting topic because they are like an empty cup
Hmm.
compared to I talking about cup of flowing over with self-love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think it's really interesting because, as you say, they can actually also go to therapists and playing around with the therapist
Right.
if the therapist is not aware enough. But then I'm also very concerned because I also actually see some also going in and be teacher in schools. I was
Yeah.
seeing one case in Denmark where,
There's
and I see one case in Denmark also in a psycho hospital. There was
yeah.
a doctor, he was that, and he and get someone to make suicide.
Wait, he convinced someone to do what?
Make suicides, like the
Really?
doctor. Mm. So
Wow.
he was
Wow.
on a psycho hospital.
The one of the narcissists that I watch is out of Russia, and he is a professor at one of the universities there. And it's interesting to watch. Like, I watch bits and pieces of his, just enough information to get because he is just a full-blown narcissist. You can tell immediately. And
Mm. Send
and
me, I want to see him. I like to
yeah,
study.
I'll send you the information. And but because he does know all the different nuances, and he does share that on his YouTube. It's very informative, and it helps kind of like really know all the little details, and the ways that they look at things, and the ways that they process. And so it was very informative and very enlightening. And it also gave me, because I had that information, it gave me more of an understanding of how to start to heal myself.
Mm. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm I'm really like I still believe there is something you can do, but you need to know them already when they're children or teenager. I believe if you catch them when they're teenager, I believe there is some psychedelic and some of my tantra work who, but you need to catch them when they are, if you
Interesting.
can spot them in teenage. I will go in and research about I like to look into like um but you have to catch them when they are teenager.
Okay. I did not know that.
Mm. No, no, it's just something coming up into my so I thinking it's something I think. I think if you catch them when they're teenager, then you could maybe get them
Hmm.
out of. It could be interesting, but
I
it's difficult. How you find them, and you you have to have their parents to approve you do something with them. So
Well, and I think, from my experience,
oh, your voice disappear. Your voice disappear. I don't know what happened. Hello.
sorry, I think I
Yeah,
had a phone call coming in that it
yeah,
was.
yeah. And now you disappear completely.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now you are here again.
But
Yeah, yeah. There's
am I
often
moving?
sometimes. No, you're not moving. I can hear you, but you're not moving. You are with eye closed.
Yeah, I see it.
Like frozen. But we can hear you at least.
All right, well, I'll just continue talking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that um I don't think that the parents understand that they're creating narcissists.
No,
Um
exactly.
yeah, I
Teacher, can teacher probably, if you was teacher somewhere, then you probably will could spot it. Hmm?
yeah, I'm pretty sure I could. I there were I was really active in my son's school growing up, and there were certain
Mm,
children that I knew were gonna have an interesting life,
mm,
that they had a different perspective on life. And one of the children actually um committed suicide earlier this year. He
mm,
killed his dad, and then he
mm,
killed his mom, and then he killed himself.
mm. But that
And
was maybe not the best opportunity, like.
no, and there were I mean, I remember it was devastating to.
Mm,
I remember him in my son's elementary school, and how just how hard that was, how hard that
mm.
year was for my son. And just,
So,
what happened after that. And then I didn't really hear a lot until I heard this year. And there was some uh, yeah, it got really ridiculous as far as the social media goes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's so sad. This child was all people was already aware of, and that is the problem because we have parents who have to allow you doing something to the child. But
Right.
you were already aware of this child,
Mhm.
and that is so sad when we are aware of a child. We not even can go in and help this child. We can just look at it.
Yeah, I think the parents in that particular situation, because this young man really started to get difficult, and I think I I I, I think that they didn't understand the kind of depth that he needed, the kind of treatment that he needed. And I don't
No,
think,
exactly,
yeah, they weren't able to give it to him.
exactly, and you're not allowed to do anything if they not accept it.
Right.
so so we can look at these children, and we actually not can do anything if the parents not are aware of enough about themselves and see, oh, what is it with my child? I must maybe get some help to this child.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, so yeah, that's really sad. But maybe that was the best outcome you can say, like, because they will never get peace, and he will never get peace, like. So now they
Yes.
will have peace together, or how you can say, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a really sad situation, and it
yeah,
was.
yeah. So much. I know about this with suicide. My mom tried to do that for 20 years, so I know how it
Oh,
is. Like, so, so yeah. But I also have studying about the suicides, but that is another topic. It
no,
sounds sad when you see you. You're not
it is.
moving.
I know. I would totally love to. I'm trying to press buttons here and trying to figure it out. Um, yeah, I actually went to Africa
Mm,
in November of 2019 as part of a grief group. I've been working with a children's grief organization since probably 2006. 2000, hold
mm,
on. 2011, actually. Um
mm,
and so in 2019, I went over to East Africa to work with an orphanage and two other mental health therapists, one who specializes in grief and one who specializes in trauma, and then with my therapeutic art information, you know, program, and was able to talk to train up like 64 different individuals who are the social workers and children's um, caregivers and things like that, and help them, you know, learn more about grief and about trauma and about, you know, how to heal through art. um
Mm.
and because, you know, it's like you said, suicide is when people get to that point of despair, it's really really difficult. And but you know, it is
But sometimes you meet some teacher who really can help you to understand why they make suicides and how you must create happiness in your life.
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
suicide is at that point where you're, you know, you've hit the depression, the despair, those
Mm.
vibrationally, those feelings and thoughts. Uh, the hopelessness is actually at the bottom. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
vibration level 200, and
yeah.
it's
But
that
as
that
you, as the one who are back, if you could learn, you could learn that okay, it was not because of me. They don't have the power, and you could forgive them, and you could say, okay, but I still need to be happy because I try to learn people when we die, we still continue to could be connected. But if we also carrying around and suffering for so long time, we also wasting our life.
right. But when you're in that point of despair,
Mm.
it's hard for people to come out of that and understand that they're feeling that, right? You know, they need guidance and they need someone to be with
Yeah, yeah.
them.
You need to have teacher who can
Right.
help them to to get out of this grief. But I working with that like and that where I mean art is very good because you can express yourself in the art. But if we carrying around and suffer, then we wasting our life going from every minute this person is dead. Our life continue.
Right.
And we can grieve from a moment, but we need to understand we must live for all these people who die because they don't have the chance anymore. And I
Mm,
have also these people in my life. And when you
yeah.
can come to that, when you can learn to come into that, then you can really like accept then people die.
It's been my experience that de- depression, hopelessness, despair, uh, that there's a fair amount of shame that's included in all of that. That people, because like I mentioned earlier, shame excretes cortisol,
Mm.
and
Yep.
you want to go hide in the corner. And so, and then when you start to feel, you know, that, and as people are being shamed, they start to, because they start to feel so bad inside, they start to make um decisions that are not in their best interest.
No, yeah, but I'm not meaning the one who makes suicides. I mean the one who are back after the suicide, the person like who losing how you say losing the mom, the friend or whatever who make it.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's more I talking about how they can come over it like mm?
Mm, yeah.
So
Like healing through,
yeah,
like if their
so,
parent suicides and then suicide, yeah, yeah, suicides, I think that's the phrase. If
mm,
if their parent does that and then they're trying to like move beyond that, that would take a whole lot of therapy, a whole lot of like art, you know, healing art therapeutics, talk therapy, just like really working through that. And I think I've
yeah,
seen,
but that
I
Mm. I listen to what you say. Yes, yes.
I met a woman recently who's she had two sons, and her one son suicided. He developed schizophrenia and then he suicided. And she has devoted her entire the rest of her life to just advocate for mental health, healing beyond schizophrenia, working past that helplessness and hopelessness and despair, and
Mm.
into, into thriving. And it's a long road. It's
Yeah, yeah,
not.
but that is lucky today. In the future, people who get schizophrenic, if they're over 18, then LSD actually can help them. It's scientifically proved people with schizophrenic, if they have the right therapies and they are in a special room who designed to get rid of all that, then you can get rid of it. That's the lucky things they have finally coming so long in the scientific proof. I was trying to get my ex to try it, but because he was Muslim, he don't want.
Interesting. I did not
So,
know
so that
that.
is really powerful.
And so, but I also, and I may have a misconception, but I thought that
Mm.
that actually stays in your fat cells, and that it would eventually, um like, come back up into your body, into your memory, and cause other issues.
No, you can actually taking away, and then you can actually. I was putting my ex on a special diet, and that also helping him a lot.
Mm. Diet is key. Diet
Yeah,
is so important. I
yeah.
you know
And but also they need to get, and in the future, I also believe you need to get because like with schizophrenia and with alcoholism, when you're falling in love, you get so much such journey, so you for a while can forget it. I was with one who was alcoholic,
mhm.
and for 3 months he stopped drinking because he was so in love. The satsoni was so powerful, but then he falling back because then the love not, this falling in love not continue.
Right.
So in that way I learned. So everything I have been through, it's a gift to me to learn about. Okay, how is this body and soul and mind actually working? I'm deep grateful for all this experience that I had,
Oh, yeah, I'm grateful too, because
because yeah,
it's helped me move beyond and grow and heal, and become the best person that I can possibly be, so that I can help and coach others. Um,
exactly. But also I like to find out what is it happening in the soul, so you can step out of it for a moment,
mm,
and then you going back to it again. But then the scientists have proof with PTS and schizophrenia and cancer and all that, and LC can in the future really get rid of all this. But you need to be with the right therapist.
yes. Well, one of the other books that helped me learn about,
Mm.
um, complex PTSD, which is what, when you're with when you have narcissists in your life,
Mm.
the experiences that you have, all of the trauma that is caused in your psyche, in your brain, is actually considered complex PTSD. Because, PTSD is when you go in and you have an isolated incident. You're you know you you're doing the same thing for a period of time, and it's one particular incident. Complex PTSD is when you have that again and again and again in a variety of situations.
Mm.
And so, through different people, through different, like, different ways that you continuously keep getting re-traumatized. And so, Pete Walker has written this book called Complex PTSD: Thriving from Surviving to Thriving. And that's also been a really huge, that book
Mm.
had a huge impact on my life too, to help me heal, and grow and learn.
Mm. Mm. Yes, I'm so grateful for all the things. And today I just, and that I can give to the you who listen to us, like, just today writing some forgiveness.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and, and I'm coming so long now, I can actually say, I forgive you because you could not do better, because you don't have learned to do better.
Right.
And that is a big step when you can realize people don't do all this because they want to do it because they don't know better. And also go in and forgive myself for not knowing better when I was young, when I
Yep.
get mad. And today to say, wow, today I know so much better.
Oh, I agree. I think when it comes to forgiving, there's a word in Tibetan Buddhism called sagwa,
Mm,
which means that you cannot have compassion for others without having compassion for yourself.
mm,
And I tend to use that word interchangeably when there's things that I feel are incomplete if you don't have it for yourself. And forgiveness is one of those. Like you can forgive
mm,
everyone in the world for all of the things that have, happened to you. And there's that, it's that happened to you, happened for you, happened through you, happened by you. Um and so, when you're at that lower level of, not lower level, but there's the when you're looking at life through the lens of happening to you, um forgiveness can be transformative.
yeah,
For,
so much.
yeah, forgiving others, and then forgiving, and but if you don't forgive yourself, then forgiving others is just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it
don't
it
working.
yeah, it's not working. It doesn't have any base on it, there's no
Mm.
substance to it.
But
So
I coming so long in I have a right journey I do every day. Before I was just doing thank you. But
right.
now I also both doing thank you, and then I doing forgiveness now, and then I doing blessing, and then
Ooh.
I doing honopono. So I now creating all this in one, like.
Yeah, and gratitude, yeah, gratitude
Yeah,
is
yeah,
so
writing every day. Yeah, but after I have always do that
important.
in every day I go around and say thank you, but I also writing. Writing is so powerful.
Yes, it is.
So, but now my time is both. First, I started with what I'm grateful for. Then I started with what I forgive. Then what I my blessing is what I have received a blessing. And then my Honopono about here, what we wanna achieve in our life, what we have some issues with me is like dear money, like so. And if people don't know what Honopono is, like you say, dear, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. I love you. And then you use your own frame words from.
Yes.
That's really powerful, also.
That is
So,
it's transformative.
mm. So can you tell just short before we have to close the show? So when you're celebrating thanksgiving in America, what is that exactly about? People who not are from America, it could be interesting to hear about.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So Thanksgiving is about when, it's the point when Christopher Columbus came over to America and discovered America, and then the Native American Indians came together with Christopher Columbus and all of his three ships, the Pinto, and the Santa Maria, and then they kind of came together as like a community to give thanks
Mm,
that they came over and the Native Americans greeted them. And so it's more of a
mm.
community about it's about gratitude and
Yeah,
what we
yeah,
do. Yeah,
exactly. That's, I want to hear it. So, so people
yeah.
know. So, when you have it, you're bringing so much gratitude.
Hmm.
So that is the beautiful things. So you have exactly 1 or 2 days. You have it.
It's the fourth Thursday of every November. Um,
Mm.
and so, but there's a lot of cooking that goes along with it, and so some people start preparing the day before. So it's
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. But so yeah, just so people know. So it is about gratitude.
it's
So
all
it
about
makes
gratitude.
sense. American people are more grateful, like in somehow, because you have get it in from spoon when you was little. How you say it, like.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the very first Thanksgiving meal was actually here in Florida on the East Coast, over in
Mm.
St. Augustine.
Oh wow.
So
You must come to Florida one day.
yes, please do. Would love to have you.
Yes. I just try my first step is to go to Dubai and see if my cats like to be on a cat hotel for because they normally go out.
Hmm.
Um so I'm gonna see if they how they accept to stay like 10 days there and see if they accept it, how they of the change personality, you know.
I hope
Because
that
if
works.
they're gonna keep be the same then I can traveling more, you know. So
Yeah, I
because
hope
they
that
are
works.
my baby.
Oh, yeah,
We have to when we get animals, we have to treat them like they was our family members, you know. So
absolutely.
yes. So yes, I think we should. Do you have more you wanna say to the show? What can you say to people if they're meeting narcissists? Go and heal themselves or what?
I just think, I think awareness is key when it comes to um
Mm,
realizing that you're in a toxic relationship. Not all toxic relationships are with narcissists. But
mm,
there's, like you said, we are talking about alcoholism earlier. People
yeah.
who are addicts, things like that. But there's people who have their own levels of toxicity, and I think for me, the one of the biggest keys is that finally helped me realize it, is that if I'm spinning my wheels and continuing to try to be in a relationship, in whatever type of relationship, whether it's family, work, friends, you name it, um, intimate relationships, that, if you're constantly if you're constantly spinning your wheels and not getting to where you want, not, sometimes it's not necessarily you. Sometimes,
No, no, it's never.
and so,
Sometimes it can be
and that,
you, but sometimes it's it's. But I always tell everyone, don't be in any detox relationship. It's waste of your time. We only have the time here now.
well, and sometimes people don't really understand that. And so, but it's,
No.
like, set boundaries. And if people are
Mm,
not, not following your boundaries, are for you. And so they're
mm,
not necessarily for those outside of you. And so if you set boundaries and people constantly, consistently, buck up against them and don't, then it's time to walk away. It's time to, like, if
yeah.
you're not ready to walk away, at the very least, start to look outside and start to, maybe Google
Mm,
toxic relationships. What are the characteristics? Things like that.
mm,
And just do a little bit of homework.
yes.
But and for
Study.
me,
I say that in all my video. Please, everyone, keep studying every day.
absolutely
Today
keep learning.
we are so lucky we can find everything if we study.
You're right. We live in the age of information.
Mm,
And so, put the information
yeah.
out there. And then for me, like you mentioned earlier, journaling, I think journaling is key, because especially
Mm,
when you're being gaslighted and you have all of this, like, false information being thrown at you, when you
mm,
write it down, you can go back and you can look at it and you can
mm,
read it. And these are your words. This is your truth. And
mm,
so, like for me, I art is my way of healing. And so I do a
mm,
lot of things. I process a lot of things
mm,
through emotional color wheels, through drawing, through doodling, through journaling, things like that. But yeah, keep moving and keep learning
Keep
keep
healing, and
questioning.
then, yes, and keep healing,
Yeah,
and then I will say tantra have a big impact if you find the right tantra teacher. They can really help you to growing away from all that, because tantra is so deep in how you connect with your soul and body, heart, and mind.
yeah,
So I know people have a wrong mindset about tantra, but tantra is so deep, can really help you to be whole, to be seen, to be feel, to be touched. And touch is not like you have to be touching your intimacy. Just be touched and give a hug. It's can do miracle.
right.
So yeah. So thank you so much for your time and being my show. And it was so inspiration. I hope all you also get inspiration. I think it was so inspiration and have a
Thank
new
you.
step to thinking about something. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Eabeauti, I truly appreciate being on your show and meeting all of your people and just having this opportunity. I'm really honored. And I apologize that my screen froze. I so wish I would have been able to show my face this whole time, but thank you. Thank you. Thank
But
you.
that's technology. That's life.
Yes.
So now it's 11:11. So wow, one
Of
11.
course it is.
We love it. So we finish up on that time. So thank you everyone for looking, and I will put a lot of information in the comment, and there you can find all the information. And stay tuned, coming a lot of amazing talk shows here.
Awesome.
So never give up. We have you in our hands and help you. So thank you so much. Have a great, great day. Bye.
Bye.